Welcome to Match Fishing in Spain. My name's Ian Brown. A lot of people have asked me about using power gum on a method feeder. It's a thing that, well, me and a couple of friends developed in Spain. We've seen it in England, we've seen all sorts of variations, but we fish a lot of deep reservoirs and we were finding that we were losing fish after fish after fish. Now, the elasticated ones that you buy in England are great. Problem is, with the extreme weathers in Spain, they last probably one outing and then the elastic goes. It's the constant heat and cold and whatever, but they just do not last and they break. Yes, they work, but they break and you lose fish. So we developed our own thing. I put in the description what you actually need, but this is the most important thing you need, which is Drennan power gum. It's £14 breaking Spain. I've got it in red, and that's basically so you can see it, but it does work in red. I use red all the time. You can get it in green, and I think you can get it in clear, but it's 0.65mm and it's £14 breaking strain. Now the idea, what you need is you need to cut about 14 inches of that. How I like to do it is I thread it through the method feeder that you're going to use. So obviously with these new method feeders, which are interchangeable, this one's not, this is just an old Guru one. You thread it through the cap, then you thread it through the feeder, and then it's stuck in between your feeder. I've not cut it off yet, and we'll leave it like that. The other thing I use is one of these quick change beads. Again, they're in the description, but to get your line through it, because you'll have a little hole, you have to cut the end of it. So get a pair of scissors and cut it, and you make a big hole in the end of it. That way you can get your line through no problem. You put your bead on the end through the little hole, and then what I use to tie it, there's lots of different ways of doing it, but I think this is the best one. Is you use a blood knot, basically a 3 or 4 turn blood knot on this. The wife's just putting the washing out here in a minute, so if you see her in the video, don't get alarmed. So on the end of
Not that scary.
I put a blood knot and I turn it 3 or 4 times, and then I go through it, the loop, back round and through again, which makes a massive knot. Oh, I've lost it there. I'll do it again. We go through, need a bit more line. Go through 1, 2, 3, 4. Then through the loop, then turn the loop, and then that's it. And then I wet it. Wet the whole lot, and then push it down to this knot. And you end up with a great big knot at the end of your thing. Now this power gum, you can see how far I'm stretching it. It's virtually unbreakable. So keep pulling it and pulling it and pulling it so everything tightens up, and then that knot is never going to slip. So it's in there, and then I just trim it off. Now what's happened, because I've cut the end off, you can get the knot through it, push it, and then the knot, you can't really see it, but the knot comes through the end like that, and then you can use it for interchanging your stuff. So it's a bit fiddly, and that's why I like to do it here. You're doing it on the bank, it's a bit of a nightmare. So put my cap on. So now I've got a quick change bead on the end of the feeder there, and I've got my power gum. Now you need, as I say, probably about 12 inch of power gum. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a bit more, but if you cut it off at about say 14 inches, and then you need to attach it to something. Now there's 2 ways of doing that. One, you can either use one of these little beads with the sleeves on, which is a neat way to do it, but the easiest way to do it is I get a piece of silicone put that silicone on first through the, you need at least 1 milli silicone. Put that through first. He says. Right, so you've got your end of your power gun. You put your silicone through first. As I say, usually about 1 milli silicone is best on this 6.5. And then you've got to attach that to something. Now pretend this is my line. And I put a normal loop in the end of my line that you would normally have. This is a piece of Dacron I'm using, so you can just see it at the minute. Cut that off a bit. So I've just got a loop in the end of my line. Right. Then what you do then, you've got your silicone on there, you tie another blood knot onto the loop. So you pass it through the loop and then you do exactly the same. Lots of different ways of doing this, and I'm not saying this is the best, but this is how I do it and it never comes undone. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times through that, through the loop, twist the loop and pull it out, and it's some sort of blood knot. I don't know what. You wet it and you do exactly the same as we did at the other end. You pull it as tight as you can pull it. You'll not stop this power gun. As tight as you can possibly pull it, and then you cut the end off your power gun. So I'm cutting the end off. You don't have to be right tight with it, and I've cut the end off my line now. Ain't that a bit neater? So now you're left with that. So it looks a bit messy, that, and that will go up and down your line, but it will hit that knot, so it will only move that far. And then all you do with your silicone is you pull that up over the knot and put the knots through it. So it takes a bit of pulling and a bit of stretching, but you get it like that, and then your knot is stuck under that silicone. So it's never ever going to come undone, that knot. I don't care what you say. You can pull it as much as you possibly want. And then your feeder, when you get a bite, it hits that stop. So it's a sort of a semi bolt rig, if you like, but you can see how much pull is in that. There's only probably, I don't know what, 6 or 8 inch pull, but you will not break that. I could pull all day on that and you will not break it. And it's particularly good when you're landing fish, because obviously we tighten up and we do whatever we're doing, and these carp, especially in Spain, but it will work in England because I've used it exactly the same in England. You've just got that little bit of spur. You can make this a bit shorter if you want. You can make it a bit long. I've seen some people with it 3 foot long, but it gets a bit too. But if you can imagine, I'm pulling like that. Now look how hard I'm pulling, and it's not nothing. It's not going anywhere. It just moves up and down the line like that, and it's absolutely perfect. So that's how you do it. If you need any more information, send me a message or whatever. And we'll sort it out from there. But if you want to subscribe to my channel, that'll be great. Thanks very much. Bye.